George Eliot once said, "It's never too late to be who you might have been." This means you can change and grow at any time in life. You are the one who tells the story of your life. When you look in the mirror, you see not just a reflection but the story you tell yourself about who you are. These stories are often based on your past. You might say, "I'm the kind of person who does X," and X is based on what you've done before. In a way, that makes sense. Our actions build our habits. But the problem comes when you let that story limit you. When you believe you can't change because "that's not who I am," you trap yourself. Just because that was your story doesn't mean it has to stay that way. You can start a new chapter at any time. Imagine saying, "I wore a green shirt every day last week, so I must wear one tomorrow. That's just who I am." That sounds silly, right? But we do the same thing with bigger parts of our identity. For example, I used to run long distances every day. I would say, "I'm a runner, and it's hard for runners to gain muscle." But that's not true anymore. I've stopped distance running and now I focus on lifting weights. Yet, in a group workout recently, I still said, "It's hard for me to gain weight because I'm a runner." My trainer looked at me and said, "That's a limiting belief." And he was right. I was stuck in an old story. I had a runner's body for years, so I assumed I'd always have it. But that's like the green shirt example again. Just because you were something doesn't mean you always will be. You don't have to keep identifying with your past. It's time to change the story. And when you really think about it, you start to notice how often we hold ourselves back with old beliefs. For example, someone making $80,000 a year might only look for jobs that pay the same. But why not aim higher? Why not believe you deserve more? Changing your story isn't about wishing or pretending. It's about choosing to believe in something better. You have to believe you're worthy of more before life will give you more. That's one of our greatest powers, the ability to change and grow. We often forget that we're the ones writing our life story. I remember commuting to a job I didn't like. My friend and I would joke, but also kind of hope, that we'd get a flat tire just to avoid going in. Looking back, I see how powerless I felt, like I needed something outside of me to change my life. But the truth is, I could have made that change myself. I just didn't realize it at the time. No one was forcing me to live that way. I had simply told myself over and over, "This is what I'm supposed to do." Changing that thought was one of the hardest things I've ever done. But it's also the most important thing. At any point, I could have looked around and said, "This isn't me. I want something different." And eventually, I did. That's why I care so much about helping others realize the same thing. We have way more power than we think. Often, we draw imaginary lines and say, "I can't go past this," just because we never have before. But everything in life is a story, and stories can be rewritten. You don't have to keep following the same script. George Eliot was right. It's never too late to become the person you want to be. If something in your life feels off, you probably already know it. You can change it. You're not stuck unless you believe you are. Belief shapes reality. If you believe you're free, you are. If you believe you're stuck, you are. And when life gets tough, the best thing you can do is stay calm. As Julie Andrews said, "If you remain calm in great chaos, it's the surest way to make the chaos go away." That's why I train hard, especially with endurance workouts. It teaches me to stay focused when everything feels overwhelming. During tough training, your heart's racing, your body's tired, and your mind wants to quit. But you learn to keep going anyway. You learn to ask only one question: what's next? And that lesson carries into life. When something goes wrong, instead of freaking out, you breathe, stay calm, and take the next step. That's how you win. You don't need to feel great. You just need to keep going. One of the hardest things to do is walk away from a life that's just okay. The biggest enemy of great isn't bad, it's good. Because good is comfortable, and comfort stops us from growing. Sometimes people ask, what's wrong with average? And my answer is, maybe nothing. But imagine a Ferrari that never leaves the garage. It's still a Ferrari, but it was meant to be driven. You were meant to live, not just exist. So I listen to people who inspire me, read things that push me, talk to friends who lift me up. Because growth is hard. But it's worth it. I'd rather live a meaningful life than a safe one. The chances of being alive are so small, it's truly a miracle. So what are we doing with that miracle? Are we settling? Or are we exploring, creating, living fully? It's not about becoming famous or rich. It's about taking your shot, whatever that looks like for you. It's about not sitting on the sidelines of your own life. I catch up with my friends every few months to reflect on life and our goals. One friend, Keith, grew up in a tough environment. But he changed his story. He started his own business and now he's thriving. What made the difference? He found something to make his own. That gave him energy, purpose, and a new life. That's what a lot of people are missing. The risk of change seems too big until you find something meaningful enough to make it worth it. We're often taught to play it safe, follow instructions, and not ask too much of life. But if you want more, you have to think differently. You have to create your own path. Risk is scary, but it's also where the reward is. And that risk isn't always about money. Sometimes it's about putting yourself out there, trying something new, or chasing something that matters. Yes, you might fail, but you might also succeed. You might win the race, meet the love of your life, or find your dream home. That possibility makes the risk worth it. So don't let the fear stop you. Remind yourself, you can change your story. You can find something that's truly yours. And once you do, life starts to feel real and exciting again. The goal isn't just to survive. It's to live. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe, and comment below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.